And we are back.
In the new studio, bumble bitches.
Yes, in the new studio.
Am I being picked up okay? I feel like this is super low.
Everything is weird. It's all weird until it gets normal again.
Yeah.
You want me to come over there and adjust your mic?
Hey, I'm not touching this. Thank you.
How's that? Does that feel better?
Yeah. Do you think it's going to pick up okay?
Yeah, I think it'll pick up fine.
Okay. Dope.
All right. So.
It looks super big compared to you.
Yeah. Well, again.
I forgot when you clicked it to record, it would zoom in closer.
Right. Well, I mean, I might be able to move you down. Let's see.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I just wasn't expecting it when I looked over.
I don't remember which camera's yours, so let's figure it out. That one's yours. All right. Just flicker it.
You're doing great, babe.
I'm fucking trying. Nope, that didn't work. Let's try that again. There is no more. That's it. Nope, you're just going to be big tonight.
Okay.
I can move you down. Nope, can't do that either. You're just going to be big tonight. We'll have to figure it out later.
Okay.
So we got a super chat already. I'm going to read that real quick.
Heard.
Adreno Gaming said, just want to say thank you to the both of you for all that you do. I'm going to have to move my mic over. Chris has been a real role model for me as I grew up without a dad for most of my adult life, and Peaches for me, helping me understand the importance of my woman. I love that.
I love that too. I'm off screen doing things
that
I can't do in front of you guys.
We're all doing. We thought we had all this figured out earlier this morning, guys.
We don't.
We were way wrong. I apologize for all the weirdness that is currently happening. All right. I'm good with that.
All right.
Another super chat from Adreno Gaming said, also shout out to my amazing woman. She's currently in Colorado for a bachelorette trip with her sister-in-law. I love you. I love you so much, Karen.
Wait, sister-in-law. Does that mean that she's your sister? Why didn't you just say my sister?
She said for her sister-in-law.
For her sister-in-law.
Yep.
Oh,
Meaning,
so like maybe a brother?
Right.
Her brother? Okay.
That's how I took that. All right, we have an update from the Monster-in-Law. For you guys who have been following since the beginning, we had a 5 email series with the Monster-in-Law. It started off as a live read or an email read for an episode, and then a whole bunch of Patreon content. And the other night at 11:30 at night, we were sitting there and we were like, we haven't heard from her in a while. We should reach out and see how things are going. So we shot her an email at 11:30 at night. Sorry about that if you're listening. I didn't mean to send it so late, but if I don't do things like that when I'm thinking about it, it's not going to get done. What are you doing?
A charger for this.
Why are you not on screen?
Because I can't do this on
People
screen.
want to see you, not me.
I told you. I said it. I said I'm doing things I can't do on screen, guys. Give me a moment.
What do you need?
I need a charger for this. It's
What?
the same as our phone.
Fuck.
I thought you said we had one here.
I got a bunch of them.
Oh, you just don't know where they're at.
You're just going to make me dig for shit. Should have made me do this before we went live, woman.
Well, I didn't try to use it until now. It also could have waited. You didn't have to do it right now.
Whatever. No, it did because you were like, hey, I need this. So I had to be done right now because if you didn't need it right now, you would have waited until we weren't live to be like, hey, I need this.
Well, I thought it was easily accessible, not you having to go somewhere.
Yeah, whatever.
My goodness.
Just making me work. Let's see if I can use the back of your computer for this. I think I can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I'm not getting up again unless I have to pee. All right. Let's run this shit. I'm excited for this update. I did not read it.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's good.
So this one says, good morning, extended family. We hope all is well with you as well. Things have been crazy busy. However, we wouldn't trade our thriving for any amount of money in the world. So Topher has his first own place. What?
Yeah, he got his own place. It's gangster. She said in the Discord that she had to go pick him up.
I thought he was like 16. What happened?
He's He was 17.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now it's my childhood home and no one has lived there in like 10 years. When the kid's dad and his wife stayed there. We quite literally kept it on hand just in case someone in the family needs a hand up. So back in 2020, pipes froze and busted and we cleaned everything up and shut off the water. And that was all the more we did. So that leads me to Topher's next process in life, learning to remodel a house while living in it. Thankfully, it's just him and his cat Pop-Tart. Learning to live within his means and what a remodel costs, plus drywall, carpet, plumbing, and furnace repair because the pipes burst. It leaked into the furnace and burned up the board inside. It's been interesting to teach him, help him, get other kids involved, and watch my dad, James, and brother use all of their skills to show Topher different things. The memories of my dad and Topher installing the furnace will someday be a treasure, not that they aren't now. Someday they will treasure. Not that they aren't now, but it will be very different someday. When he gets to the point of painting, our oldest daughter is going to do that part with him. The deal with this house, whoever lives in it has to have the utilities in their name and has to pay them and the property taxes. Dad doesn't charge rent. We felt it was time for Topher to explore this, and he felt he was ready. P.S. His 1985 Cadillac Eldorado is still going strong, but he is ready for his own vehicle, and this is his reason for moving out so he can get a better car, but learn to balance everything and keep the Eldorado instead of trading it because you never know.
I would turn that car into a lowrider. I really would.
Yeah. Our oldest daughter is graduating cosmetology school this year from the Career Center. Next year is her senior year. She actually plans to send y'all some senior pics because listening to YouTube has become such a big part of our family time and has helped improve all of our communications. She will be going to Germany for 2.5 weeks with the school. By the time she comes back, between both schooling and the Germany trip, she will have 78 college credits. That trip to Germany is going to be dope.
I agree.
Kratos is actually on doggy patrol. He got into a fight with a cat in our yard, and the cat didn't win. The neighbors called animal care and control, and I have to deal with them and their crap. That's been fun. I understand that they are just doing their job, and truthfully, if the guy next door wasn't feeding strays, it wouldn't be an issue. I feed strays. I would do that.
All right. I got the chat to work.
Oh, neat.
Whoops.
So now in order to take Kratos out, he has to have a muzzle on and be on a leash in his own backyard. However, he is my dog and I am responsible. We have decided to put the house up for sale and take the lawsuit money from the school. We won. And my dad sold us some land out in the country. We are going to build a house and move out there. I fully accept the responsibility and am sad a stray got hurt, and so did my dog. The vet bill wasn't cheap, nor were the court costs. $1,100 to the court was insane to me after I paid $800 for his lip to be stitched. At tax time, James's mom did reach out because he owed her some money for the lawyer loan, and although we were zero contract, I put money in her account, not all of it, because I didn't have it all. So she texted James, yelling at him about that, which we only owed her another $300. Anyhow, she was like, "You and only you and your 3 children can come here and bring me the rest of the money as I want to see them." He replied with, "Not going to happen, and it'll be deposited into your account."
Good for him.
That is good for him. She said, "I'll just take you to court." He ignored her for 2 days. She kept texting him, telling him to answer her. A judge would laugh in her face for taking that to court. So I mailed her a big box and taped a $300 money order to the bottom of the box and filled it with grocery sacks. That made her mad too. Why?
Because everything with that woman results to anger or drama or conflict.
Right, but I feel like that's instigating.
Yeah.
Like you're poking the bear at that point.
I would have wrapped it. I would have put it inside of a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag, and then duct taped it to the bottom of the box. And be like, it was in there. It was duct taped to the bottom. You couldn't miss it. Did you throw the box away? Oh, I'm so sorry. Now I have to write another check. And then I would find another creative way to do that. So she would also throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
And we would just keep playing this game for a while until I was satisfied with my pettiness. I would wear a Karen wig while I was doing it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, make TikToks about it. It would be grand.
So because she did the box thing, the mom decided to show up at James' work. And she put her finger in his chest and screamed at him. Well, he walked away from her and got into the truck and shut the door. His supervisor called the police because she was beating on James's driver's side window. So at 65 years old, she went to jail for public nuisance and assault on her own child. The other 3 kids are still seeing their grandparents 2 weekends a month, and all are staying very busy with Winter Garden Band. We are going to be hopefully changing that very soon. I'm still waiting to hear from the court about my other little boy. It has been taken under advisement, yet still no answers. I think the judge is waiting to see what happens with his father's 6 felonies and 4 misdemeanors between the 2 cases. It was so hard to be accused of the amount of abuse that I was and keep my mouth shut. How could he sit there and tell a judge the reason it wasn't reported was because you have to report it in the county that it happened in, and no, that's a full lie? I don't know. I was so broken, but between therapy and everything going on, I have been able to just lay low and do my best to wait on an answer and hope and pray the judge saw the lies. My health has been a whirlwind of crazy. I have been using my meds, however, and they have found my stomach acid is actually what caused me to be so sick for so long, and has also caused a swelling in my stomach. We are using new meds and diet to change that. I've gone gluten-free and dairy-free for now. I've got hip surgery coming. Running the business with Topher and his business partner has been amazing. I have also been able to help my sister with her kids and my autistic niece who also has a processing disorder. My niece is now talking what we call broken English and sign. Between my sister and her husband doing their relationship therapy and both working full-time, they need a third person to help with getting the baby to all of the things she needed and to help them with all the work with her. We've accomplished so much. Topher hired my nephew to help with the school presentations and getting kids to the job sites for the job training. Now to the nitty-gritty of James and I. Well, James now not only works as a heavy equipment operator, he also welds. Yes, the guys at work are still very jealous of his lunches. I make his protein shake every morning and send him out the door at 5 a.m. with a kiss and a smile. He comes home and I undo his boots in the washroom. Washer and dryer is on the back half of the house. His uniforms go into a certain container because yuck, I am not washing them with anything else. And please don't track that yuck into the rest of the house. And I scrubbed his hand before he comes in the house. I use Dawn first with a brush and then clean his nails. I have gloves on. This isn't to make his manly hands like a woman, but I want to take care of him and listen to his day. I want him to know I care and that he's important too. We do our daily check-in then and still hold out weekly report cards with the kids, and it helps so much. It has helped us keep the kids from so much overwhelming attitude and emotional explosions. You're welcome to read this on any platform. We love listening and learning and using it in our daily lives. Hope y'all are well and the kids are still learning and growing. Y'all have changed lives just by being yourselves. Thank you for checking in and not forgetting us.
Of course. All right. So while we were doing that, I was checking with Zach to see how our audio was, and he said that there is a minor echo.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring our decibels down to like 12, 13. I'll do 12.5. I like that. And then see if that helps at all. Zach, please send me another message and let me know how our audio is. I think we're going to have to put up more foam. I really don't want to hang up more foam, but I think we're going to have to foam the walls.
Yeah.
Or at least get moving blankets to put up and throw in the corners. This is such a giant ass space. I could stick those other audio acoustic panels on the ceiling, and I think that would help too, but we're working on it, guys. So for everybody who was curious as to what was happening right now, we have been going back and forth with the Monster Slayer since December.
The beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, December of last year, of
The year prior.
2022, right. And we have been...
She's OG.
She is. She's an original listener. Yeah, so we try to keep updated with her life and what's going on with her kids and things like that because, I mean, honestly, we give a shit about you guys. So with that being said, let's get into some emails, babe. I'm excited to actually work. I'm excited to do something other than physical labor.
Okay. So what am I looking at? Because you have a whole thing planned.
Any of the emails that are in that the requested folder.
What requested folder?
I have to pull it up and look.
Because the only thing in Read Me First is the 4th trimester survival.
Hang on. Coming over. I guess this is a great way to prove that we're in the same room since we have different color walls, huh? Come on. Where's the mouse? Wow, your mouse is sensitive as shit. That's not it.
Oh, was that it?
What?
Go back. Whatever folder you were just in. Is it the feminazi?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's one of them.
Okay.
Is that? Yeah, it's all of those.
Okay.
Glad you caught it because I'd have kept looking.
Yeah?
Yep. Jenny said, "Feel good."
You ready to just get into it?
I am.
Okay. Feminazi to trad wife. Hi, Chris and Peaches. So I just saw a little snippet off your TikTok from one of your podcasts about a man whose spouse had to get used to a man doing things for her, i.e. opening up her doors, walking on the outside of the sidewalk, etc. And Chris was wanting to hear the opinion from the women who are on that side who went through the transition from boys to good men. My first marriage, I was very much leaning into my masculine, and I could not depend on him for anything. He did not open doors. He did not know the sidewalk rule. He did 50-50 on dates, and most of our marriage was also 50-50 despite me only working part-time as well as keeping our kids at home and taking care of the house while my entire paycheck went to bills while he kept his money. Needless to say, he is my ex-husband for a reason. When I met my current partner, I was very much so in that I don't need a man, I will never need a man again, and I have no interest in dating at all phase of my life. Little by little, he broke down the walls that I had put up post-divorce, and he was the definition of a truly good man. I have children from my previous marriage. He has stepped up to be a father figure in their lives with no questions asked. He takes care of us in every definition of the word, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I swore that I would never stay at home while my partner worked again because of how bad my mental health was by the time I left my ex-husband. It has taken a lot of work for my current partner to gain the trust that he deserves from me to know that as his partner, I will not be less than him for not contributing the way that he does to our family. He sees the work I put into homeschooling our children, and yes, I say our children, because he is there day in and day out with me. I thought I had a missed phone call. My apologies. They may not be his biologically, but those are his children. He sees the work that I put into our house. He sees the work I put into the meals that I make, the breakfast and lunches that I pack for him before work, and he values the contributions that I make to the family. It has been a complete shift in my mindset that good men do exist still. There is no 50-50 with this man. I tried to pay for breakfast once, and he took my debit card, put it in his wallet, and handed me his. My quality of life has improved so much that I cannot remember what it was before. I don't have to worry about anything with him. He treats me with respect and love, and some people don't understand me wanting to just And some people don't understand me wanting to just be able to stay home and take care of the children and him. But when you have a man who is truly a provider in every part of your life, you want to be submissive to him naturally. Love what y'all do.
Dope. Everybody that's sending super chats, we will get to those after we read some of these. We just wanted to read some of these because, I asked for it in an episode of the podcast, and the clip got a shit ton of emails. So we're going to read through some of them, and then we'll probably do some Q&As. I am aware of the echo that's in here. I'm seeing some comments popping up saying that it's a thing. Today is a test run. I've spent the last week moving everything from the studio in here, and the fact that things are even set up to record right now is astonishing. And I think I made pretty good time knowing that we've got people coming into the studio tomorrow. So just bear with us. This is a one-time thing. Next week when we go live, this will all sound way good. So, we won't be live next week.
No, we'll be in Arizona.
Right. So Wednesday when we go live, all of this will be way good. Because I'm going to fix that
the following Wednesday. We're not going live at all next week.
Right. We are. Wednesday.
We're going live from Arizona?
No, we won't be in Arizona Wednesday. We'll be here Wednesday. We'll be leaving for Arizona on the 24th.
Oh, that's next Sunday.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's do another one.
All right. Getting over my high horse. Hi, Chris and Peaches. I saw your video saying you wanted women reaching out, talking about their experiences, letting go, and learning to submit to their husband, and I wanted to share mine. My own dad taught me to be hyper independent as a woman. He didn't want his daughters depending on a man or any form of spouse that we could have, even on a minute level. It honestly wrecked me, but it was so driven into my being and who I was as I was raised that I fought my instinct to be a submissive housewife when I got married. I also got married extremely young, which was a lot to work through and definitely played a big part in my struggles here. I was way too young to be married. We both were. Unfortunately, it took my parents passing for me to feel like I was able to let go of that part of myself. It felt like I was betraying them by choosing to be the polar opposite of what they wanted for me. Feels very dark to admit, but it's true. No, I get that. That's how I feel. That's how I felt with our marriage.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like I was betraying something within my lineage.
Why?
Because it was ingrained into me to fuck all men, strong, independent woman. You don't need anybody.
Because it was ingrained in you that fuck all men, not to fuck all men.
Right, yeah.
Verbiage matters.
Okay, yeah, that's what I meant. You're right. I've been married for 5 years now, and I've been watching your videos and taking advice for the last several months, and my marriage is healthier than ever. Less arguments and more love. We haven't truly fought in a while now. I feel more successful as a wife and mom now than I did before. I'm hoping as I grow older with my husband, I can continue to live out this advice and learn to free myself from the mindset I was raised in. I deserve to be in my feminine, and he deserves to be the head of the household and be the man and husband he wants to be for me without my parents' voices in the back of my head telling me it shouldn't be this way. I couldn't have done any of the progress I made without finding you guys. I just didn't have the support or materials in my life, and I didn't know how to start. I appreciate you guys coming into the podcast and reaching out to women and men in similar circumstances to me and helping reframe the mindset being around submissive to your spouse. Submissiveness doesn't mean looked down upon or less than. Thank you.
So with what you said about how you felt that betrayal in the beginning and how that was hard for you, what was the change? Like there had to have been a catalyst for a change, and what caused that? And then like, was it just like a, oh shit, or was it a gradual thing? Like I want to know more about that. Send me an email, babe.
It started with the ending of my last relationship, which was not my marriage. It was just a boyfriend situation. And I recognized that I would fall into this pattern of being with somebody and being like madly about that person for the first like 8 months to a year. And then every time at the year mark, I'd be like, okay, I'm tired of this person. Like, they're not filling my needs anymore. I don't like who they've become, when in reality, I overlooked who they were because I had a ideal of them in my brain versus actually accepting who they were as a person. So that year mark would come and then something would happen. I would catch them cheating on me, or I would emotionally cheat and then feel bad and then break up with them. And I recognized that pattern. It wasn't fucking working for me. And then you came into my life and things started budding between us. And I told you about that day in my living room in my apartment where I was like, fuck, like he's not going to put up with any of my bullshit, my breakdowns and my crying because I did something to upset you. Even though you're right to be upset at what I did, I hurt your feelings and now you think I'm a bad guy, so now you have to console me. That's not going to be a thing.
Right.
And I also recognize you are not going to put up listening to me daily say, fuck all men. Hey, babe, just a reminder, I don't need you. I want you. I don't need you here. I can do all of this by myself. That's a really shitty thing to do to your partner regularly.
It's a shitty thing to hear.
Right.
But so I want to touch on that though, because there's a difference between I need you and I want you.
Right.
I don't want to be needed. I want to be wanted. I want to feel like I matter and I'm desired, and like, I want that. I don't need to be needed. That makes me a caretaker, you know?
Right.
But you're right. Hearing that and having people throw that shit in your face, it gets old.
Yeah. Another thing that I used to do was I would just fly off the handle, like instant angry. Like a slight happened, was on autopilot, wasn't even thinking about what they were doing. And I'm instantly, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do this? And I would create a massive fight over it. When I started to lean into the feminine submissive role as your wife, I definitely felt a sense of betrayal to my ancestors, you could say. It was, yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. I felt guilty because I felt like I was betraying everybody in my family. Because that's not how I was raised at all. It was a lot for me to work past, and I finally recognized that I am my own adult. I've been my own adult for a very long time, and to live my life by a set of ideals that are very clearly not working, and to blame everybody else but my own actions, it was a self-realization of a lot of selfishness. It was a lot.
Jenny just said we hit 170,000 on YouTube.
Shut the fuck up. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for making that happen. I love that happen during a live.
Me too.
That's awesome.
I'm going to bang out some of these live, these super chats.
Okay.
We got one from Shauna that is not a super chat. Hey, Chris and Peaches, I just wanted to say how grateful I am to you both. I've been with my husband for 20 years since high school. We have 4 crazy, monstrously handsome, mostly obnoxious boys. We have somehow made it through a year-long deployment and a loss of our son. Through listening to your podcast, I've learned the power of forgiveness, and it has been the most freeing experience. That was not a super chat, but Zach felt that was pertinent enough to be read.
I bet it has been a super freeing experience.
Yeah, that's
It's a lot to go through.
Yeah, the forgiveness thing. So it's not a secret that you and I are followers of Christ,
right?
And we saw The Chosen. We watched all the 4th season in the theaters every other week as a date night. So it was really dope. But there was a moment where Matthew was sitting with Jesus around a fire talking about forgiveness and how forgiveness is a gift,
right?
And it's not just because you say you're sorry doesn't mean that you're going to be given forgiveness. It's got to be bestowed upon you.
And that's why it's a gift.
And that's why it's a gift. And every time I see the word forgiveness now, I think of that scene in my head and like that conversation. And
oh, stop! I'm gonna start crying.
It changes the way that I view acceptance,
right?
And moving past things, because I don't believe you forgive people for other people. You do it for yourself,
right?
You know, you don't ever have to be cool with somebody again that's done you dirty, but you forgive them and just accept that things have happened, and it's acceptance, and you move past it. So I'm really glad. That was a good comment. I read that one. Emily said, "Thank you both for helping me take accountability for my own toxic behavior and better myself. Stepping into a now amazing relationship, we listen together and ensure check-ins are implemented." Check-ins are amazing.
I love that.
And that was the first time Super Chatter on a live stream for us.
Oh, thank you.
Raylan said,
Hang on. Before you get into that, Zach just said 200K is going to be the 2-chip challenge, right?
"Oh, fuck me."
I almost died after that. My guts were messed up for like 2 or 3 days.
Out of the Pepto-Bismol bottle.
You did.
After that. Yeah. I'm not doing that again. No.
I can understand how people have died from that challenge.
No, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
That's not even funny. Not funny. She said, "What advice do you have for me to navigate my husband's regularly being annoyed and during disagreements rolling eyes, using a condescending, mocking voice at times, and picking apart simple things I do, clearly annoyed by it?"
I need you to repeat that, please.
How about I just move it?
Okay.
Because
that's neat.
It's just these two.
What advice do you give for me to navigate my husband regularly being annoyed and during disagreements rolling his eyes, using a condescending / mocking voice at times, and picking apart simple things I do, clearly annoyed by it? I will watch this on replay later. Okay. I would just straight up ask him, why are you so annoyed by me? Like, I am perceiving you as just annoyed by everything that I do. And this sucks. So what can I do to not have this reaction from my husband? And that opens the gate for him to go, yeah, I'm annoyed by this, this, and this. Or he can actually, if you give him room to open up and be actually open with you, he can delve into what's really going on. And whatever he says, whether he is actually annoyed or it's something else, you cannot take it personally.
I think the biggest thing to remember here is that there's an underlying problem.
Right.
Because you have two types of conflict. You have the ones that are going to be able to be resolved, and you have the ongoing conflict that you're never going to be able to see eye to eye on.
Yeah.
And when that ongoing conflict is a thing and you're not getting resolution, and there are things that are being overstepped repeatedly, those minor annoyances become a big fucking problem. Mm-hmm. So there's something else going on there, and you're getting the overflow of that coming into real life. Because in the beginning, he wasn't that person.
Right.
I would assume that he wasn't, because if this was a thing early on, I don't think that you would have stayed with somebody who was immature like that.
I don't think you would have married somebody who was immature like that.
Right. And I don't think, I don't like that I just use the word immature, because I don't believe that that's what it is. I believe that there is I think that there's something deeper going on, and until that's resolved, this bullshit's going to continue happening. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that it is immaturity. I do think it's more along the lines of things are starting to snowball, right?
Yeah.
So how do I resolve that? How would I resolve that and make that stop? I would do a check-in and be like, hey, I've noticed that you've been pretty irritable with me lately. And I don't know if it's work or stress, or if you're getting tired of me, or what's going on, but it's making me feel like I'm doing something wrong. I would like to know what it is so that I can correct the problem and move forward. And if he's like, oh, it's not that, it's me, then ask him, well, why do you feel that way? What's going on? Why are you stressed out? The best way to communicate with somebody is to match them, mm-hmm. not mirror them. And I have to make that specification, because people will try to match energies by mirroring what the person's doing, and that's not helpful. If your person needs an empathetic conversation, you need to be empathetic towards the conversation. I also I've got a new phrase that I'm going to start using when it comes to communications, and I want to add this to the new check-in list. I believe that there are 3 types of conversations, and we always say, do you want to vent or do you want to problem solve? And I think it's made a note, because I'm going to fuck this up if I don't read it. Do you want a decisional, social, or emotional conversation? Because sometimes people just want to have a conversation, right? And it's nothing really important. That's the social aspect. It's just bullshit. Mm-hmm. You want to talk just to talk. Hey, I missed you today, so let's talk about all this stupid shit that we would have talked about while we were sitting here, but Joel, right now, it's a social conversation. Tiffany at work said blah blah blah. It's irrelevant to anyone's life. It's just conversation. Mm-hmm. Decisional would be, we really need to sit down and problem solve. That's the problem solving. And then obviously the emotional is, you're upset and you want to vent. And I know that we're going to have an emotional conversation, and I need to be able to match the emotion that you're having. I think that In doing so, you and I are going to have a deeper, anybody, not just you and I, but anybody's going to have a deeper conversation. Because if you come to me with an emotional mindset and I'm logic brain thinking, and you need that emotional mindset, you need to be comforted, and I can't get there because I'm still logic brain, you're not getting a side of me that you need in the moment.
Right.
It's like the video that you posted on TikTok today where I was like, come here, babe, or come here, woman, which got hate because,
Of course it did.
but anyways, you coming over there and doing that, and me just being emotional with you for a minute. You said that as soon as you got out of the chair, you instantly felt better. And today you thanked me for it all over again.
I did.
Because I was able to match that motion instead of just being like, oh, it sucks. Sorry you're going through it. Because, how fucking sincere is that?
Right.
All right, more super chats.
All right, this one's from Sabrina. Excited to see you guys in the new studio. Hope today has been great for the both of you. Thank you for all that you guys do.
We saw her gender reveal today.
We did. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
From John Rose, if you
get around
to my email disregard after many hours of your content, I envision you two wanting more details and Chris telling me to pull my head out of my ass. Much love and thanks to you both.
Well, you sent that as a super chat. So,
it's their first one too.
So you're right. So it was a good get your head out of your ass.
I like that.
And hopefully there will be an email coming with more detail.
Mm-hmm. And then from
Raphael.
Oh, my water bottle was in the way. Thank you guys for everything you've done. You've helped my relationship so much. And shout out to my wife for painting my nails every Sunday. Yes, a man who paints his nails.
All right.
Hell yeah. I love that she does it for you.
Peaches shaves my head.
I do.
That's our grooming thing. Head shave and lotion.
Yeah.
On the head. Yep. All right, let's do another email.
Letting go of hyper independence and submitting to my husband. I just saw a clip on TikTok where Peaches read about a woman learning to be okay with her man doing things for her. Chris said he wanted to hear that perspective. I recently had this conversation with my little brother when I explained the struggle I went through to learn to be kept and let go of toxic femininity. So here's my perspective. When I met my husband, I had been a single mom of 3 for 2 to 3 years. Their father would not keep a job and provide, so I went to work to just do that. He stayed home. When I would come home from working my shift, I would have to come home, take care of the kids, change diapers that hadn't been changed all day, cook, clean, etc. And at that time, I found myself doing everything that needed to be done. And eventually, I was so disconnected that I put myself through school, got a job working from home, and I left. Fast forward, I'm out in the world doing all of these things for my kids full time. I didn't have family support and was alone in the world with my kids. At the time, I had to learn to be what I envisioned as someone like Xena the warrior princess. I was a warrior, so I thought, when I was in survival mode.
Oh, we're not skipping by that.
Okay.
Let's discuss that. Because there is a very, very big difference from going to combat and fighting for your fucking life.
Yeah.
So to go from thinking that I'm a warrior to feeling to realizing that I'm just surviving and that's deep. That's a hell of a fucking feeling.
It's like being in a moment. This is going to get really dark, guys. That moment for me was I went from being super cocky, like Homelander, like I was Homelander, to being a dude in the trenches with shell shock.
Yeah. It
was a very, very rude awakening.
It's crazy to think about.
It is.
It's I think that being kicked off your pedestal and realizing what's really happening in your life is where the great change comes from. That's a huge catalyst for a lot of people. I feel like that every time I've had a moment like that in my life, great leaps and bounds of progress has happened right afterwards because, getting kicked off your pedestal or having to relearn things is a big fucking deal.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Come 2020, after the pandemic, I met my husband in July. I knew almost instantly that I had met the man I was going to marry. He was
almost instantly.
Almost instantly, yeah. He was patient. He saw that I was struggling and immediately had the instinct to lighten my load. That looked like, I'll take your trash out on my way out. Or, you cooked, so I'll do the dishes. I'll admit, I was one of those who said, I don't need your help, I can do it, and would refuse to let him do anything. What I love about my husband was that he understood that I needed time to get used to having a partner in life. So he stayed persistent and would not allow me to do anything alone as long as he was present. It took me almost the first year of marriage for me to settle down and allow him to care for me. I am now the kind of wife who loves to cook and serve my husband, not because I have to, but because I get joy from seeing him fulfilled. Oh, I get that. I have to.
Do you get that? You want to elaborate on that? Because that was one of those moments.
I get joy from seeing him fulfilled. Yeah, it's like there's different moments of fulfillment for you. There's like when you get your dream car. I don't know, that was like a life accomplishment for you. And you were super stoked about that. And it was
And then I got rid of it.
or like when you look at me and say you're really happy about life right now and you never thought that you would be here as somebody who wanted to unalive themselves for so long. It's moments where I could like imagine you being a kid. I'm gonna start crying. Stop.
It's not a podcast, so you cry, babe.
Like, I know your childhood was hard, right? It was before the world really fucking just came down on you. You had all these responsibilities. So like when you and Joe were riding dirt bikes together and I could see you guys laughing and doing stupid shit on your bikes and kicking up dirt and doing baseball slides. It's like I could see you being 8 years old.
I get that.
No, I don't have my hanky.
You got tissues. I brought you the roll.
I know that humanity has it hard in the world. And everybody goes through different trials and tribulations, and women go through things that men will never understand, and men go through things that women will never understand. And seeing you on bad days and seeing you on hard days is really hard. So in moments where you're fulfilled and you're actually happy and you don't have the weight of employees on you and you're not thinking about money and how to make this work, and we have fucking camera broke, so now we have to come up with $7,000, like, or worrying about being a good stepdad, like, yeah, it's very rewarding to see those moments where you're fulfilled and happy. Why are you just looking at me?
Because I'm glad that we get to experience this together.
Yeah, me too.
You know, you knew me through one of the darkest like windows of my life.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, glasses are coming off. They're just a hindrance at this point.
We will read the super chats that have come through after this email is done. I will not interrupt again unless there's another real good reason to.
Okay. With him, that looks like making his favorite dishes, buying his favorite food from the store, fixing his plate, or making sure he has a warm towel coming out of the shower. This version of myself I am now, I always knew existed, but I never had the safety of flourishing in my femininity. I feel more like a woman than I have ever in my life, and I know in my heart it's because that was the gift my husband gave to me when he took me as his wife. Oh, shut the fuck up. It's so right.
Are you gonna cry again?
It's already happening. That's why the tissues are here. You're not alone anymore. You don't have to do anything by yourself. I'm here. Oh my God. Somebody call Lifetime Movie Network. I love you.
I love you too.
Like a lot. Oh. I think paper towels would be better for this job. They're more absorbent. That's what Bounty says. Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh yeah, that was the move.
You want me to read some super chats while you're
Yeah,
right.
I before you get into that, I just want to say my life went from me depressed crying every single day, hating waking up and going to work and resenting the fact that I was a mother and resenting the fact that I was a piece of shit wife to happy tears and being in love and seeing the children flourish and actually being hopeful about the future. It's crazy where life takes you.
You know what's really crazy is both of us lived in a constant mind state of like, okay, we just need this one thing.
Oh yeah, this will be it and I can go.
That'll be it, right?
Yep.
We both lived like that for a long time. And had that one thing happen and we actually went through with any of that, we wouldn't have gotten to experience any of this.
I'm glad you didn't do it.
Yeah. That was my my one reason, was that I always knew that like I deserved to have some sort of happiness in life, you know? Peyton said, I just want to say how much I appreciate y'all. I can say with complete honesty, I would not be where I am today without you. I feel I have entered a new chapter of my life for healing and growth. Peyton, we're glad you're with us too. It's cool to see you and your husband Isaiah and shit like that and play video games and do all the dope shit that we're doing through Discord. Lorraine said over 400 people watching on TikTok. Let's bring them over. So if you're watching on TikTok, you should go to YouTube so you can actually see what's going on over here. Be involved in the real comment section.
Well, now it's up to almost 700, guys. We're live on YouTube right now. If you want to interact with us, I highly recommend going over to our YouTube channel, the number 2 Be Better on YouTube.
And then Kate said, you changed my marriage for the better. Thank you. Actually, Kate, you changed your marriage for the better. We just gave you the tools to do it.
I'm about to ugly blow my nose, guys. I'm sorry. Can you mute me, babe?
Yes.
Oh, TikTok. Sorry, TikTok. You're just going to get the full effect.
We are also live on Twitch. And we Twitch stream video games now. We've been playing zombies. I'm trying to like talk over your blowing. It's probably not working.
How unfortunate.
We've been Twitch streaming zombies at nighttime, and we just bought Phasmophobia and Outlast Trials.
Oh, I'm so excited about the Outlast trial.
And Helldiver 2. So, just so you guys know, I don't do horror anything. Like, slasher movies, I can do that all day long. It doesn't fuck with me, but like anything paranormal, ghosts and demons, I can't handle that. Mentally, it fucks me up.
Yeah, because you start seeing it at night when it's dark.
Yeah, I do.
Starts filling in the dots.
Yeah, over active imagination. So, when it's 3:00 in the morning and I already can't fucking sleep, and now I'm definitely not sleeping. And
Paralysis demon in the corner.
and we're gonna start playing horror games because this is a great fucking idea. Yeah.
I can play the horror games and you can just watch me play on the screen.
It's the same thing.
But you're not actually involved in the moving and the processing. You're just watching like a movie. Somebody on TikTok said every time I come on here, Peaches is blowing her nose. I love that. That's kind of what I've known for. That's pretty neat. Just fucked up sinuses. From AJ_444. Hi, I just want to say the two of you have changed not only my perspectives, but how much I needed to take accountability, not only for myself, but in the so many ways I was the problem. Love and light.
Love that.
I love that too.
That accountability is fucking huge.
Yes, it is.
All right, let's finish the email, and then we'll do another one, and then we'll do some Q&A.
What's happening? Are we doing Q&A? Is that what you said?
We can. I'd like to finish this email and do one more.
Oh, that email was done. That was it.
Okay, let's do one more then.
Me sobbing. Oh, I can't do that. It hurts my elbow. I'm worried about extending my elbow and just snapping that off because of the way it broke.
It won't.
So this one is titled Relief. For a long time, my husband and I have felt like relics. We're both in our 30s. Oh my gosh, stop it. You said 30 and relic in the same sentence? That just hurt my feelings. But the dynamic between us is hard to find these days. We met on a dating site. Neither of us actually intended for anything long term because we felt our expectations in a partner and in ourselves were likely to never happen. Both coming from a string of toxic relationships and trauma, not just with partners, but family as well.
I have to pause. Can you read that again about believing that it would never happen? Did I mishear that?
Neither of us actually intended for anything long term because we felt our expectations in a partner and in ourselves were likely to never happen. So they just accepted that they were both piece of shit people, I guess.
You
That's
know
how I
that a
took
lot of people find happiness when they quit looking.
Oh, yeah.
They really do. Like when people are like, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Somebody comes along and it's just the right fucking person because you've given up. You're not trying anymore. You're just your authentic self. And if they also gave up their authentic self, like,
Yeah. You took me on with snot rockets and all of my mess.
the reason that I stopped you though is because I truly believe that people are more lonely and broken now than ever before, like
I
ever
agree.
in history.
Yep.
We're sicker than we've ever been. We're on more drugs than we've ever been on. Like
More isolated.
more isolated.
Our elderly are just tossed to the side instead of being taken care of. And
Yeah. But I think that there's a power in belief. And I think that if people had an understanding and like a true hope and like they held on to that and they believed in themselves, I think that we'd be better off. I think that people get so broken that they just quit. They give up. You know what I mean? And I know that's a catch-22 because I just said that most people find love when they quit looking.
yeah.
But like there's a difference between quit looking
And then being desperate.
Right. Okay. I ate almost this entire bag of fucking pretzel peanut butter balls.
I knew you would. That's why I bought them. Back to the email? Mm-hmm. He actually found me, was intrigued by my dating profile where I had fully laid out what I wanted, but what I didn't want and the person I wanted to be as a wife, as a mother, even as a woman, the type of person I was looking for, especially in the fact I wanted a man that was going to be a man. By that, I wanted someone who wasn't going to just bow and scrape and give me whatever I wanted, no lap dogs. I wanted the mental and emotional support from someone that matched what I had to give. Regardless of the world's view of him or I wanted to know we were each other's safe places. I wanted someone who was going to know when to tell me to shut up and stop my crap because for whatever reason I got too emotionally involved in a situation where I needed to be more level-headed, as well as being able to receive that. We started our relationship by intentionally laying out our dirtiest laundry and offering details where they were needed. The thinking was, if you can accept the worst crap I've got in my life, then the rest of it is just trivial. We have been together now for almost 7 years. We spend every day together happily. We are both antisocial, yet still crave each other's presence.
I get that.
Yeah.
She said that she was looking for a real man and not somebody who was going to treat her like they were a lapdog. Mm-hmm. What a fucking statement.
Yeah.
I was going to let that ride, but I'm dwelling on it. I would imagine that that's what dating looks like right now because men have become so fucking frail.
Yeah, they just cater. We have had maybe 3 arguments. Aside from doctor visits or basic errands, we go everywhere together because that's what we want. We make a point to talk about everything. We also pick on each other 24/7 and make jokes about each other all day long because we're both sarcastic smartasses.
Yeah, that is us. That is me to a T.
Yeah. We recognize when the other is vulnerable and is needed and is in need without saying a word. Communication is vital, but not all communication is verbal. Body language. Body language is a major part of knowing your partner. Understanding their tics and quirks is highly important, especially when your partner, even if they communicate well with you, isn't good at expressing themselves. Knowing their tells helps you be a better partner for them, and in turn, they will make that effort for you. Being aware or being in tune with your partner can be truly peaceful. Many times we have been asked how we manage to have the relationship we do. And no matter how it's explained, many of them can't fathom being as open as we are, and honestly, I hate that for them. After finding your podcast, although there may be differences, we agree very strongly with most of the insights you share. And I want to thank you for being who you are, being comfortable in front of a camera/mic to share these key details that some of us are a little too shy to share publicly.
You remember how uncomfortable it was the first 5 episodes?
I hated it. I hated it. Yeah. After the first episode, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this again. I was mad uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable with public speaking. The only interaction I've ever had with the crowd is me on my saxophone. So actually talking and giving opinions, no, we didn't do that in my life for a very long time. So the podcast has very much pushed me to stand firm in my opinions and beliefs and not be a seaweed that's only moved when the ocean decides to.
Yeah. Now you're looking for data instead of a different opinion.
Yeah.
I get that.
You bring a voice to those of us that are very much like you, share similar values, and you are both appreciated. I say rock on, but keep communicating seems like a better choice. Ending with an upside down smiley face.
All right, I'm going to read some super chats.
Okay.
Ashball00 said, I would love to play Faz with you guys. So if you're in Patreon,
We do.
if you are in Discord, which is accessible only through our Patreon at the $15 tier, we do play with people in our Discord. We can play up to 4 in Outlast and in Phasmophobia. I don't know if you guys are going to lose all respect for me as a person if we get into a horror game and I start screaming. I'm going to become very uncouth.
Yeah. I have never seen you be scared.
I don't fucking deal with ghosts, dude.
We don't have to do this, babe.
No, we do, because I said I was going to. It may not happen more than once, but we've already bought the game, so we've got to at least play them once. It may not scare me because it's a video game.
I mean, if you don't, I will certainly, like, if you guys are intrigued, I'm down for horror games.
Do you remember when Paranormal came out? The
Paranormal Activity.
Is that the movie where the chick was dragged out of the bed?
Yes.
Okay. I slept with the lights on for 3 fucking days after that movie came out.
That movie was terrifying. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I don't know how this is going to go for me. Like, I'm going to turn into an old black woman at church. Oh, Jesus, it's coming. Like,
Oh Lord.
yeah, it's going to be bad. You guys are going to see an old Southern woman come out of me real
Do you
fucking quick.
want me to sit on your lap?
Always.
I can be your comfort.
As long as the cameras can't see anything from like here down, we're golden. All right.
Stop. Hang on. Can you push that intermission button? I need a minute.
I don't have the animation on this one. It's on the other computer.
Oh God, we need like that hang in there sign or something. I'm not okay right now. I feel like a new achievement's been unlocked.
That's funny. Oh, wait, I do have this one. Womp, womp, womp. Oh, well.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Doralee Wright for $9.99 said, thank you guys so much for all that you do, for showing all the emotions, for having those hard conversations in front of us, for just being you, loving the new studio. Thank you. I actually like the new studio, too. And Zach said that I got the audio fixed. I just had to lower the gain on the...
Perfect. That's
mixer.
fantastic.
Yep. Jessica Sharp said, the new studio looks amazing. Thank you for all you do. All the work you put in. Sorry. It's greatly appreciated. And then AJ444 said, also Patreon email coming soon from a prior feminazi and 15-year domestic violent relationship where I despise men after to complete submission. Love that. I saw something about the lighting in the studio too, but I don't know where that one went. And then Brittany said, for Peaches, tissue paper towel fund, and now I need some too.
I actually have hankies. They're somewhere in a box.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still unpacking things.
Yeah.
I had to focus on like individual rooms, and the garden room is not set up yet, so I totally missed my mouth. I got your text message on my watch, and it fucking brain short circuit. All right, let's do some Q&A, guys. We have roughly an hour to kill, unless you would like us to read another email. We can do an email. If you guys want to do like a problem-solving email, we can do that.
Are you hungry?
No, because I just ate an entire fucking bag of these things.
I want nachos.
Oh my God.
What?
I assumed This was a serving size.
That's not a serving size?
This is 6 serving sizes. So I just had almost 1,000 calories of peanut butter and pretzels. Heather said that her and Jenna both really like the lighting. It's soft and clear. So we've always been recording on Sony cameras, right? We've used the Sony A7R4 in the beginning. Then we went to the A5s, A7R5s, and then we bought the A7S3, and then we bought the FX3s. And the FX3s are how we record the podcast because they're actual cinema cameras.
Yes.
And because we moved everything around and we were trying to set up the additional room for gaming, we're currently using the FX3s. And like they track really, really well. I'm not getting blurry.
No.
So this was a good move on our part with the cameras. They would like a problem-solving email.
A problem-solving email?
Yep, let's do that.
I don't know if we have any problem-solving emails.
Oh, there's the emails in there. We have lots of emails in there. Aloha Snack Bar said, feed the peaches.
I want nachos.
We are close enough to pink tequila.
Fuck yeah.
I would do some. I'm fuck it. I'll buy the nachos too. I will eat nachos. I'm gonna have to eat a whole lot of food because we're gonna stay up really late playing video games.
We are. We really are. I'm so excited for tonight. I feel like 16 again.
Yeah, because we have actual internet.
And we can play video games
It's
late
the
at
small
night.
things in life. Medium folder, Zach said.
Medium folder. Heard.
Alyssa said, I've been looking for a better camera. What are you currently shooting with? Because depending on what you're using, I can give you some suggestions. If you already have a camera, I would stick with that brand though. Because switching, bodies and then switching into different glass gets very expensive very quick.
All right, what kind of nachos do you want?
Are you doing pink tequila?
Yes.
I want the nachos locos with beef.
Nachos locos. Isn't it con? That's with in Spanish. Con.
I don't know.
Avec
I
is with
speak
in
American
French.
in slang.
It's grilled steak or chicken or mix.
Well, steak is beef.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you wanted ground beef.
I would
because
prefer
it is
that.
certainly a different texture.
Yeah, I would prefer that, but steak is fine. Madison Dole said on Twitch tonight. Yes, we will be on Twitch. We're currently live on Twitch right now. Shout out to the Twitch guys that are watching. All 38 of you. And then Big Danish said, "Are you playing zombies tonight or scary games?" We're doing zombies tonight. I'm not. I need like mental prep for a scary game.
I was so ready for Phasmophobia.
Oh man, can we start with Outlast?
We don't have to do it tonight, babe.
That slasher, I can deal with that. Slasher
Yeah.
doesn't fuck with me. Like you can fight a slasher back,
Right.
and you have at least some sort of odds. Punch a ghost.
No.
You unless your last name is Winchester, you're fucked. Good on that. I want an actual camera. I was looking at the Sony brand.
Nachos.
I just use a streaming USB camera. Sony A7S3 is a really, really good camera that you can use for photos and video. It's great in low light. And the A7S4 is supposed to drop at some point. So I would probably wait just a little bit longer and see if you can get a better price or look for a used one. Although they still have pretty decent used prices for Sony cameras.
Would you like a soft drink, babe?
No, I have some still.
Okie dokie. I have to find my vegetarian nachos. So it'll take me a
Well, I'm
while.
going to continue reading super chats and talking to the people.
Okie
then.
dokie.
Secret Me said, I want to get a starter camera. Any suggestions? I don't believe that there is a such thing as a starter camera. There are cameras that are lower end and higher end, but none of them are starter. If you want a starter camera, you need something that will shoot in auto, that will do everything for you, because unless you understand the exposure triangle and know how to use your shutter speed, your f-stop, and your ISO, the camera's still doing all the work for you. So if you're not sure you're going to like photography, I would rent a camera for the weekend. If you have a camera store local to your city, which is very rare, but if you have one, even if you got to drive to it, go and have them show you how to use the camera when you rent the gear. And then I would try to play with it and see if it's something that you want to actually get into before spending the money, because you can spend a lot of money on camera. For a pro low entry pro level camera, you're looking at $2,000 to $3,000 just for the body. You can get like a Canon Rebel or a low end Nikon or even a low end Sony. And and not spend that kind of money, but photography is a very, very expensive hobby. It's right up there with cars and motorcycles. Jeff Graham is in the chat.
They don't have the vegetarian nachos.
This is bullshit. I'm going to write our congressman a letter.
I'm going to look at their appetizers and see if maybe I missed it. Would you be okay with ordering from somewhere else?
Sure.
Okay.
He said, Patreon journey to overcoming curses and communicating with my family for the email.
What's that? Communicating with my family?
Yeah, that was the email that Zach's telling us to read.
Okay, what is it again? Because I was reading. I can't listen and read at the same time.
Patreon journey to overcoming curses.
Found it.
Aloha Snack Bar said, is there a place like that in Florida to rent a camera? I don't think there is. I know where you live, and I know that Johnson's Photography off of 217 off of exit 217 on 75, the Bradenton up there, they have cameras there, and I know they sell used gear at times, but I don't know if you can actually rent gear. So I know that there are places you can rent online and have it mailed to you, but it's not the same thing.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
So I'm going to get some avocado to put on top.
From where?
From the same place.
Okay.
It's a side of avocado.
Dorley Wright said, any update on Steve? Been thinking and praying for him. Steve is he's back at the tattoo shop full time. He was in the ER or admitted to the hospital for 10 days. He had 2 surgeries, massive infection. Fucker, he almost died.
Yeah.
He was not okay. But he's back to work at the tattoo shop. I don't know if he's going to be coming back to the podcast anytime soon. That time in the hospital was pretty hard on him, and he's trying to recover and get back to life, and still family to us, but just not on the podcast right now.
They don't have any desserts, and I'm kind of sad about that. I think it's called sopapilla. Sopapilla.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a deep fried tortilla.
Gotcha.
With cinnamon and sugar on top with ice cream and drizzled chocolate.
Renee said, zombies scare me. Y'all play Minecraft. We do not, but we have a Minecraft Discord crew that plays constantly.
Jump online. Fucking do the thing. Oh my gosh. I was trying to unclick it with my bad hand. It's frustrating for me that it's not at full strength yet. Yeah, I'm going to make you guys wait a little bit longer. I'm so sorry. I really want to enjoy these nachos. I wasn't expecting to get so emotional on this live. This is a lot.
I wasn't either.
To everybody who's watching us right now, I want you to know that I deeply appreciate you being a part of our lives, because this is super dope for my husband and I's marriage. It's also super dope to just know that so many people give a shit. It's nice.
This is dope as fuck for our marriage. Like this has changed the way that we communicate. It's changed the way that we talk to each other. It's changed the way that we serve each other. So this is not just helping you guys. Like we were already in a good place, but we went from like a good place to a fucking phenomenal place. And like, we're still learning and growing. So,
Yep.
And the conversation that we have because of the books that we're reading is evolving us as well. And it's making us change the way we respond to each other. So.
Bye, Jeff.
Have a good night, Jeff. When is the next baked conspiracy theories? I never laughed so hard. You know, we didn't actually put that onto the books. We didn't put that on YouTube. It just went on to Patreon. So we got a $50 super chat, so we have to interrupt everything for that and hold the press. Lindsay Berry said, my husband and I appreciate everything y'all do. We sent in a life update email. We're one of the families y'all helped with Christmas last year. It meant so much to us.
Oh,
much
really?
love to you both. So Lindsay, thank you for that. We actually didn't really get too much into that with the whole, family helping thing. I think that we talked about it maybe once or twice, but I'm glad that you guys are still around and still following and shit. That's pretty dope.
I'm glad you guys had a good Christmas.
Hope the kids had an amazing Christmas.
Yeah.
Jess on Twitch asked, is Zombies on Call of Duty? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Where can we watch you play? You can watch us play on Twitch. It is To Be Better Podcast. All right. Aloha Snack Bar said, this podcast is brain food versus mindless TV or scrolling or music. This genuinely is satisfying to listen to. All right, let's do that email. We got like an hour.
Hey, Chris and Peaches. I want to start off by saying thank you for all the time and effort you both put into making content for everyone to enjoy. I've been following you guys for a little less than a year, and my husband and I have recently become members of your Patreon. I didn't ever expect to make so much change in my life after taking a few hours out of my day to listen to your podcast, watch your videos, and take notes to become a better partner in person. I appreciate all that you have to share with those of us trying to navigate through the dark. You both are amazing and vibrant people. Throughout this year, my husband and I have been making big changes to build a better future for ourselves and create a stronger foundation to eventually start a family. To do this, my husband has joined the Warriors Way group with Rick Yee to work on himself, and I am taking my own notes when I am invited to listen on their talks. I am reading more books like The Mountain Is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery by Brianna Wiest, and making adjustments where I can with all the new information I have gathered. While I've been adding new skills to my portfolio, I have been running into some difficult challenges with my family. For some background, my parents are divorced, and none of my 3 sisters speak to each other anymore. I am the only one in contact with each person. I have a limited conversation with each person, but still find myself dreading the interaction more than I enjoy it. Although that has changed rather recently for maybe 2 people, since I am making changes and trying to set healthy boundaries for myself. I don't know the best way to go about it sometimes, so I remain silent. There are a ton of mental health problems in my family, and it can be difficult to navigate. Some of those mental health issues have been diagnosed and others have not. My mother and one of my sisters are bipolar, and 2 of my other sisters have PTSD, and my father is bipolar, schizophrenic, an alcoholic, and a registered sex offender. I have been working hard to rebuild what I can because I miss and cherish the good connections we did have, but I don't know if I'll be hindering myself holding on to those toxic relationships or benefiting from the growth I could have with them. I don't want to seem like I've given up on them.
I don't understand.
Ooh.
I don't understand that last part.
Okay. I don't understand it either.
Can you just read it again for me, please? Because it doesn't make... I don't understand what you're going to get from a toxic relationship. Like
Nothing.
That's so what are you afraid you're going to miss? Can you read it again? I must not have understood it.
I have been working hard to rebuild what I can because I miss and cherish the good connections we did have.
That's what I missed.
Okay.
So she's holding on to a dream of what was, hoping that they can go back to that again.
Maybe, or if it was never that, are you just holding on to the few good memories that stick out in your mind? Because when I think of anything in my life, I have to focus on the good things to remember them, right? Because I'm just over inundated with negative shit. I don't know. People will hold on to the illusion of something. So if you remember something a certain way, you're going to hold on to that and be like, if we can just get back to that point. Well, if that point never truly existed and it was just through the lens of the illusion that you hope that your sisters could be, you can never get back to what wasn't there. Does that make sense?
It's crazy how different cognitive biases are for people.
Why do you say that?
Because I know all of the bad shit in my life, but I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Unless it's a conversation that gets brought up and then I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about people or I think about my past, it's always good times.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever intentionally think about foul shit that's happened to me. Mm. Like even my long-term vacation that I took.
Yeah.
I don't think about that. Like it's not something that's ever forefront of my mind until the conversation about being incarcerated comes up and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think about the good times in my life, even with the people who did me dirty. Like I look back on the times and that's what I focus on. And I think for me, and I know that there are other people. I'm used to this being on this side of me.
Me too.
So like I'm talking left-handed and I need to be talking right-handed. I know that there are people out there who have the same thing, which is why people go back to their exes so much. They cannot speak to their ex for 2 or 3 years and then reconnect and they think about all those good times. And that's their focal point, not the bad shit that made them split.
Yeah.
But I also know that that's the reason why I can forgive people and have friendships with them afterwards. Like I'm not going to forget the dirtiness of it all,
Right.
but I'm also not going to fixate it on either because it's not going to solve anything for me. But
I'm the same way.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm able to let go of things now. I am. In the past, I wasn't.
Yeah, that's growth.
I don't know what it is with my brain. Maybe it's like a self-preservation mechanism to not forget the hurt because I am somebody, I was very naive at one point. I also tend to want to see the good in everybody.
I get that.
So
that is a fucking huge problem for me.
I can see how my own mind could use that as a self-preservation thing. Like, hey, bitch, don't forget this happened.
That makes sense.
You can't be too soft on people.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Back to the email.
Please.
To protect myself growing up, I had cultivated a mindset of doing everything I was told to do when I was told to do it in order to avoid any form of abuse. I have always struggled with being a people pleaser and seeking approval from authority.
That comes from the previous statement she made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believed I was only worth anything if I was giving my all to others. I get that too. I lived that. Even at the expense of myself, and most often it was. Now that I have reflected, I see the stem of my controlling compulsions was the fear that came from making mistakes because of how my parents would scream and yell in our faces. I panic when tasks aren't done exactly the way they should, in quotations, be done.
I have to pause you because you said that you were that person at one point.
Yeah. That I believed I was only worth something if I was giving to other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I never experienced that. Ever.
I envy that a little bit.
Well, and it's weird to hear you say that because that's not who you are as a person. So hearing you say that I was that person, like I've never known you to be that person ever.
Oh, I was 100% a doormat.
Yeah. Well, I didn't experience that side of you. I never have.
Yeah.
But knowing that, like, what I'm going to say to all of you people pleasers out there right now, this is one of the most powerful things that you will ever experience if you can get it. There is a power in selfishness that comes from there's nothing that you can do to me that hasn't been done already.
Right.
Like I have almost died. I've been stabbed. I've been shot at. Like horrible, horrible things have happened to me. I've been hit in the face with a crowbar. Like a lot of really bad shit and I'm still fucking here. So like, I'm not worried about the what ifs anymore because I know that I can overcome them. And the selfishness in that, it is a selfishness that I don't have to do for you. If I'm doing for you, it's because I want to. And that is also from selfishness, right? But there is a power in that I think if you can find the empathy of wanting to people please and the balance of fuck you, I do what I want, it's a superpower.
It is definitely a superpower. My people pleasing ended. My people pleasing ended when I people pleased my way into getting raped.
Oh.
Yeah. So it is okay to be selfish at times. For a people pleaser hearing this, it's okay to be selfish at times.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't imagine what my teenage years and my young adulthood would have been like if I had the same mindset you did.
Well, I mean, my mindset got me locked up. My mindset is the reason that I got in all those situations. You know what I mean? But there is a power in that.
Right.
Because my childhood was so shitty and I was on my own so young, like you have nothing to lose. I don't know. It's weird now because I have a lot to lose, more than ever before in my life. But there's still that fuck you mentality in my brain because I know that even if I lost everything, I could do this again because I have the knowledge now. So I'm even better equipped than I was when I was younger. It's going to happen a whole lot faster than it did. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. There's just a lot. You saying what you just did and Scott Twitch saying, oh shit, sorry, Peaches. I'm so sorry, Peaches.
Oh, you don't have to apologize for it. That was over a decade ago. I was 18, 19.
Yeah.
That's one of those situations, though, where, like, looking back, I hated the world. And I was so frustrated. I was like, well, just why? Why is this happening to me? And I recognize it's because nobody else is going to be my voice. And I said no once, and I was like, oh, well, he doesn't care, so I don't give a fuck. Like, here we go again. Back to the email. Even at the expense of myself. Oh, I just read that. Now that I've reflected, I see the stem of my controlling compulsions was the fear that came from making mistakes. Where am I? To a T. This developed into my struggle with asking for help or giving other people the chance to do what I do, whether that's at work or sharing a space in the kitchen. I have gotten better at talking to my husband when I have moments like this at home, but I still feel a twinge when I'm watching other people take over. I want to pause for a second. I'm really hung up on the fact that everybody on Twitch was apologizing for that experience happening. It doesn't bother me anymore. I've been raped a couple of times in my life. A vast majority of women have. It's just the world that we live in. There is true evil in the world. And I have come to believe that everything in life happens for a reason. And because I went through what I've went through, I can now tell other men and women to be your own voice and to stand up for yourself. And it's okay to be selfish with your boundaries and your body and what you want in your life to make you happy. My past doesn't hurt me anymore. It doesn't have emotional effect on me anymore. It's one of those things that I've grieved my childhood. I've grieved all of the bad things that have happened to me. And I've laid it to rest. And now there is a very beautiful garden growing over it that I get to enjoy.
It's acceptance.
Yeah.
That's the difference between it is what it is and like it actually being it was what it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I was so good at keeping up with the tasks given to me, I was given the responsibility of watching my younger sister and keeping her in line. My youngest sister has a complete polar opposite mindset. She believed that it didn't matter what she did, it led to attacks anyway. She would get in trouble far more often than I did, and I was favored by my parents because I was always obedient. She was lectured more often and punished more often, and this led to a competitive interaction every time we engaged with each other. She opened up to me about feeling like she was always in my shadow, that she experienced more trauma than I did because she was in the storm more often than I. It feels like she has a need for gratification and recognition because she didn't get that growing up. I will try to share things about myself with her, but we can't seem to get past the resentment. Even now, she believes I'm going out of my way to start an argument or prove I am right when we disagree or something. So that sibling rivalry, that resentment built up there, how can you be pissed off at a child for the way that the parents treated you guys? Right? Because I have a sister, and like every family, traumatizing things happened. And there was a point in childhood where if you had asked me, do you hate your sister? I would answer yes. Because in that moment, emotions were high. My brain was not working at full capacity. I was not fully developed as a human being. I was still navigating the world and trying to walk like a newborn calf, you could say, mentally though. And now as an adult, I don't know, I'm an adult. That's my sister. How could you let something that happened when you guys were 13, 14 years old impede on the relationship that you could have now in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 80s, rolling around in a wheelchair, giving each other shit in a nursing home? Life is too short for that. I have told her I acknowledge the growth and changes she's made in her life to create a safer environment for her when she's moved to another state. But she has refused to acknowledge me and the changes I've made to speak to her without trying to sound like a parent. We have had talks about how I needed to ease up on her when I'm trying to help, and she shared all the wants and a sister. I don't know what this means to her, and she doesn't know either. It feels like a lot of our communication still gets stuck, and I want to fix it. Well, that's a big problem. I don't know what this means to her, and she doesn't know either. So if she doesn't know what she needs to feel better, how can she expect you to provide it?
Right. You know that check-ins can be had with siblings.
It can be had with anybody.
Right. It doesn't have to just be with your partner. Maybe
Right.
you and your sister need to sit down and have a check-in.
During the holidays, I've tried to update her on our family because I know she misses our nieces and nephews. Holy shit. I am so over all of this mucus drainage. I have never had allergies before.
That pollen's bad. My truck
It's
is yellow right now.
Bad. I walked out to the patio this morning and the hot tub cover is yellow.
Yeah.
Guys, it's supposed to be black.
Yep.
I shared with her a situation that had happened at my older sister's house while my husband and I were driving to visit his family. My younger sister started to call my older sister weak and a coward for being in the relationship she is in. I disagreed and gave examples on how she was strong and courageous. This caused my younger sister to be very defensive and that I should have known the conversation would make her uncomfortable.
I don't understand. Why would that? So her defending the sister made the sister uncomfortable?
Maybe.
So she was supposed to just fucking sit there and let the older sister be talked down to, or the other sister be talked down to?
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me. Some people just aren't okay with people being bullied.
Right.
And in that situation, that's how I would view that.
Yeah. That all she wanted was to show me her crafting project, not talk about triggering subjects. She began lecturing me about how I think I'm better than her and that her trauma will remain with her and be a part of her.
That's not true. Your trauma is not a part of you. It's something you've experienced and you went through. This falls right back on the acceptance thing. When you accept that the things have happened to you, you can really start healing and get past them.
Right.
You don't have to be the 12-year-old who went through what you went through.
Right. I was about to say she sounds stunted in this. Like she is the 12-year-old reliving all of the abuse and attacks and whatnot in these conversations.
Right.
I would argue and say that trauma does become a part of you. The way that canyons are shaped by wind and water, I think our souls are also shaped by our experiences in the human realm.
I don't deny that. I don't deny that our experiences aren't shaped. Our life is not shaped by our experiences. That's how we learn life lessons.
Right.
All of that is absolutely a thing. But who you become because of your trauma is not living in your trauma. It doesn't become, maybe for some people it does become a part of them. Mm-hmm. All the bad shit that I've been through, that was something that I had to go through to get to where I am.
Right.
It's an obstacle. Mm-hmm. It's not baggage. I'm not bringing that shit with me. I'm climbing over that motherfucker and leaving it behind.
Okay.
So, but
I like that elaboration. Thank you.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? It sounded like you were going to add more to that.
I do agree that your all of that, it shapes who you become. But it also helps you grow, because if you overcome an obstacle and you have to overcome that obstacle again, you've already figured it out. Mm-hmm. So overcoming it becomes easier and easier. And the more you exercise that obstacle, the easier it becomes. First time you climb over something, you're scared. You get to the top of that motherfucker and you're afraid to move your foot to climb back down. You get to the point where you can just scurry right up and over it. Mm-hmm. Then you get to the point where you're jumping halfway up the obstacle and jumping off the top of it. Like, it becomes a superpower, you know?
Right.
You can look at that and like, if you watch those guys in Full Metal Jacket when they're doing the obstacle course in the beginning, it's a shit show. And towards the end, they're just fucking bouncing over hurdles and shit. So
Yeah.
that was my analogy there.
Okay. Back to the emo?
Sure.
Even though she insists that she isn't using her trauma as an excuse, they come up in every discussion that we have. When it's about her relationship with our parents, siblings, or significant other, she doesn't seem to be receptive to changes she can make that would help improve those relationships. Every past experience or struggle comes up. Every time a past experience or a struggle comes up, I am spoken to as an opponent rather than a sister. I want to have stimulating conversations without confrontation. If I do disagree with her, I want to try to hear her out and ask questions to encourage critical thinking.
You know why that is? Do you know why? So something has happened somewhere in your life where she had to defend herself to you or like against you. And it happened frequently enough that every time you have to have a conversation with her, she gets defensive.
Well, she said earlier in the email that she pretty much became a parent to her.
Right.
So she wasn't in the sister role. She was 100% like, this is how you're going to live your life.
Right.
And the parents were comparing them constantly. Rather than meeting halfway, I am immediately attacked. My question is, how do I have a healthy conversation with my sister without having the competitive overtone? I am actively trying to create a safe and open home for any one of my family members to visit, but I don't know if I am being too forceful because I want to change so badly, or if she is just refusing any and all help from me because she is afraid of being judged. I can't seem to hold a conversation long enough for her to open up with me. So you've talked about the conversations, but you have not given any examples of how the conversations go. So I have no idea how you're talking to her. I don't know how your tone is. I don't know what verbiage you're using. That's it. That's the end of the email.
Well, I was waiting on you to give your thoughts. I didn't want to jump in and...
I mean, I really... When she's talking about her life, just say, okay, well, what do you need from me? Are you looking to vent? Do you need to problem solve? And when it comes to talking shit about the rest of the family members, don't try to defend the family members. Just say, look, I'm not doing this. We can either have a conversation that's being productive or like, look, I'm just giving you updates on things, or your updates gossip. It's a lot.
Yeah, the gossip, I wouldn't fuck with that.
Yeah.
But the other things, if she's afraid to talk to you because you always get defensive and she looks at you as like a controlling figure, and she's afraid to have a conversation with you, you need to start the conversation off with, I love you, and I just want to have a conversation. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not trying to blame or shame you. I'm not trying to throw guilt. I just want to know what's going on with your life. I miss you. I want to reconnect somehow, and that's where the conversation needs to start. And when you feel in yourself wanting to rebuttal or get defensive, you need to back off of that. You need to allow the conversation to flow naturally, and this is where you need to match emotions. If she's happy with the conversation, then you need to try to maintain that mutual energy so that you can have the conversation with her. If she starts to get down, you need to bring that energy down, and you need to be able to match what's being said. If she needs... If she needs an empathetic ear and she needs somebody to like show compassion, she's your sister. You should love your sister. There needs to be grace there, but you need to develop a new relationship with her. This isn't about just being able to have the conversation. Your relationship is fucked up somehow.
Right.
So I think the check-ins would be a great place to start, but your conversations need to be a place of love and not a place of, let me tell you how to fix your life.
Yeah, with all of you saying that, I would actually recommend backing off talking to her about the rest of the family, because you said the whole family's fucked up right now.
Yeah.
So
Talk about her.
Right. Talk about her, talk about your life, and talk about your guys' relationship.
People love talking about themselves. And there's not a whole lot of people that have a support system anymore. And I have found in real life when people, and I'm like, hey man, how's life? And they're like, oh, I'm like, I don't. Talk to me about it. Like, what's happening? And I've done this at the shop. And I'm not going to say the person's name, but every time I did, it was a fucking floodgate that opened up. And I got to hear everything that was going on. And afterwards, I'd hug them, and that would be the end of it. But they felt good about it afterwards. And I got to get to know what's going on in their life, which let me handle them differently. Because, if I handle people the way that I want to be handled and they're going through a lot, they're going to break.
Right.
So it's a very different scenario. But being able to let people talk about what they're going through and ask probing questions. Empathizing sometimes simply just looks like, oh man, that must have really sucked. I can't imagine what that felt like. Can't say I understand. I've been through it. No, you haven't, because even if you went through the exact same thing, your cognitive bias, your lens looks different than theirs does. So don't try to relate. If you had somebody that died and they're complaining about somebody that died, you can be like, yeah, when that happened, this is how I felt. Don't say I understand. Tell them how you felt, because that's going to create a dialogue. They're going to empathize with you, and you're going to have that back and forth. Like,
It's an energy exchange.
right. There's actually been studies done that show that when people have in-depth conversations like that, where they are asking probing questions for each other, their brain patterns connect. And there's a word for it. It's neuro something, something, something. And I don't remember it because I'm not that smart. But I fucking read the study.
Right.
It also happens when people play music together. Like if you were to sit down with everybody, like on the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, when they start playing and they're playing together, all of their brain frequencies sync. The sensations that they feel in terms of skin, like if air hits their skin, they all feel the sensation the same way. But the moment they stop playing a duet or playing where somebody goes solo, that breaks, that link breaks. And when they start playing, it comes right back up. They've actually done studies where they've put fucking...
That's insane to hear. I mean, that also makes sense though, because when like, for example, my jazz band, we would play together, there were times where our band teacher was like, holy shit, guys, like that was good.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Wow.
Yeah, but that same phenomenon happens when people are having in-depth conversations where they're actually probing questions and listening. You know, it seems like the more people probe and the more they don't assume, they don't pass judgment, and they actually, that felt like that. Really? Well, why did it happen? Or how did that make you feel? Those kind of questions make people connect.
Yeah.
That's also tactics that the CIA uses to get spies. Completely unrelated, but
What?
Yep.
Okay, so repeat that again to me.
So
Because I'm hung up on the CIA and it just made me forget everything you just said.
the CIA, when they are trying to get people to be spies for them, and they're
Okay.
trying to turn people from their governments to, like, you know, tell on their government secrets,
Like, can be a traitor.
they do it from a place of understanding.
Oh, right.
So they'll meet with people,
Oh,
and if people are like, you know, I'm in Europe, I'm from whatever country, and I'm here trying to find something better for my life. I don't like the way things are going there. I thought
got a
maybe I
gig
would
for ya.
sightsee, but like I can't find a good guide. And they're like, oh, you know, I've traveled a little bit and it was very hard for me in the beginning too. So maybe, you know, if you want to be a guide, I could show you around. I've been to the city 15 times, blah, blah, blah. And then they start empathizing with everything the person says, and it creates I feel safe.
No way. Have
Yep.
you guys seen the interview?
No.
It has James Franco and Seth Rogen in it.
That's why I've never
Not
seen
Seth
it.
Rogen. It is Seth Rogen.
Oh, wait, is that the...
Where they go to North Korea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see
Yeah,
that.
they got honey potted.
I was forced to watch that once.
It's so stupid. I like it. It's funny. It's on par with like Sharknado for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our food's on the way.
Okay. I got up and turned the light on while you were reading that email, thinking that it would be dark out, and it's still light outside. I actually think it's almost dark now. Was that the end of the email?
That was it. Yeah.
I think that's the answer to all of that. I think that you guys need to have conversations where you connect and not try to problem solve. People don't need you to fucking solve their problems. People don't want to feel alone anymore.
Right.
You know, I've been harping on this for months now about how lonely and broken people are, because I don't feel lonely anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I have a good group of people, and I hate to say this, but even if I don't want to talk to the people in my real life for whatever the reason is, I have an entire group of men that I can reach out to and be like, guys, I'm fucking going through it today. And even if I get 3 messages back, I have now connected with 3 other fucking dudes who have had some sort of words of encouragement or have just been like, what's up, dude? Talk to me. Sometimes I may have to make a phone call. You know what I mean? But like, I don't feel a separation between me and the people that care about me the way that I did.
Right.
Sometimes we just need to have that sense of somebody's got me.
I love that those connections have been mended for you.
Yeah.
That's dope to hear.
Yep. Lots of dope fucking things. This podcast, I know we said earlier that it's changed our relationship. It's changed our lives. You know, the community that we've built around Discord and Patreon is unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to get people to sign up. I don't give a fuck. It's benefited me, and that's dope. There's my selfishness for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You want to start wrapping this up? Our food's going to be here soon.
Yeah. We have 20 minutes until we have to go live on Patreon, and I would like to take a break because we are going to have a Zoom call, and it's going to be a long one.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
So I am going to plug Patreon, even though I said what I was doing just now wasn't. We are working on live calls to read emails on Zoom. If you guys have seen, we have posted some of them to YouTube. We are posting some to Spotify as well. We want to start moving into coaching. Pricing for that will be listed on the website soon, and we're going to start doing that. We were waiting on the house to be set up, and now that things are almost there, we have a vacation, a work vacation next week.
This is not a vacation.
It's not. I keep calling it that.
It's a work trip.
We're leaving, and we get to do a meet and greet and a photo shoot, and then a whole bunch of other work while we're there. But it's going to be nice to leave Florida for a week.
We get to sleep in a hotel.
Yeah, that's always
nice.
fun.
I don't have to make our bed. Hell yeah.
Jenny became a member for 11 months and said, I am so blessed to be a part of this tribe. The last year has changed my life for the better. I am so grateful for you two and the community.
I love you, Janae.
Yeah, we feel the same way about you guys. So let's wrap it up.
All right. Thank you guys for being here tonight, both on Twitch or all on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube.
Yeah. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. We are so fucking close to 200,000. We want 250 by the end of the year. That's our goal.
That'd be so dope.
And the only way we're going to do that is if you guys are actually subscribing to the channel and sharing the content. So if you found value in what we do, share the content.
And thank you guys for still being here.
Yep.
And welcome to all the new people.
Yeah. See you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.
It didn't work.
Oh, our Twitch is to be better. It's all to be better. Everything is to be better. Bye, guys.